All right. Well, here we are.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 4, Casa Siciliano.
Yeah.
And we're back. We're back at it. So I really wanted to do an episode on politics, but obviously you were not ready yet.
That's a hot topic.
Not ready yet, but you will be, right? Eventually?
I think so.
If we do it like tastefully.
Yeah, I respect everyone's opinion on politics. It's like I don't like feeling attacked when I don't attack people, so I feel like I'm not ready for
Regina George.
I'm not ready to be attacked. Like I like to be respectful, and I just feel like I need to be able to be comfortable.
Okay.
Before
No, I hear it.
It's like
we'll do it eventually.
Yeah.
We'll do it eventually. Cool, because I think we could add value in that subject area from both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
But anyway, so today we are 100% full disclaimer. We're not experts on this. However, I think that we've accumulated enough kind of knowledge in these areas, and we're practitioners, right? Like we're practicing what we're going to talk about today actively. So,
okay, good to know.
Yeah. So I know I barely, just like for anybody watching, like I barely brief Ari on the topics. So this is going to be interesting today. All right, cool. So here's the quote we're going to start with.
Okay.
You know, I like to consume knowledge books.
Yes.
I think I referenced Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki in another episode, and yeah, you knew who the author was in that episode, so that was cool. So you know Robert Kiyosaki here.
Yes.
Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow.
Right. That's yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's jump into that. So let me ask you a couple questions.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Do you think most families actually have a money problem? Like, do you think that their problem is actually the money?
Yes.
Okay. When you feel stressed financially, do you feel like it's about the money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Am I passing this?
Well, you're teeing up the episode, which is great because I think anyone else would answer the way that you're answering, which is what I love about this.
Okay.
What feels heavier to you? The finances or the pace of life?
I think what feels heavier, finances or pace of life. I think the finances.
Okay. All right, cool. Great. So check this out. We're going to start with something called the calendar test.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to pull up the last 30 days of our calendar, right? Cuz I have stuff, you put stuff on our calendar and I have stuff in there, and there's stuff we don't put in there. We have to get better at that. But essentially, like, we're going to talk about it we're going to categorize things by like income, family, health, faith, and waste. Okay.
Okay.
And this is a quick exercise. So your calendar is essentially a financial document. So like your calendar can, by looking at it and the way it's organized and putting things into those buckets that I just mentioned, you can kind of predetermine what your, financial status is going to be for the month, which is crazy. Right?
Right.
We're creatures of habit and we follow patterns, and you'll continue to follow a bad pattern or habit in your calendar, which could lead to financial stress, right? So if we looked at our last 30 days, what do you think? Like, where do you think we would, where do you think most of our time is spent in the last 30 days? Like income, family, health, faith, or waste?
In the calendar, it's pretty good. Like, I feel like it's family and health.
Okay.
That's usually, and business is what's in our calendar.
Okay. So let me pull it up. I'm going to pull it up for February.
Oh gosh.
All right. So on Groundhog Day, you handled the kids that Monday and Tuesday, and this never happens. February 2nd and 3rd was Mortgage Con.
Yeah, that was Groundhog
So I
Day
was all hands on deck.
I was like doing the same thing by myself for 2 days.
Right. So that was financial, I guess, right? Because that's work.
Right.
And then when we look at Wednesday, I had a couple meetings in the morning. You had Pilates at 8 a.m. So that's health.
Right.
Okay. I had, again, a couple meetings in the morning, like that's fine, Pilates, and then baseball didn't start yet. That starts the next week. Oh no, I'm sorry. It started Thursday. So Thursday, again, I had a couple meetings. You had Pilates at 7 p.m. Easton had baseball. So like we're pretty well balanced.
Right.
Which is good. Yeah. Friday, we have our morning meetings, which you're a part of some of those. I had a vision meeting, a friend's birthday, Pilates 8 a.m. Then we had like Sunday was like obviously church. So that fell on the calendar under faith. Yeah. Mom and dad's dinner.
Yeah.
Face and arms at Couture, OBGYN, Pilates. And then I had a bunch of work stuff and I'm going on and on. G&G Fleet Service closing. We bought a company that day. Like that whole day was consumed with work. Easton's baseball, wax museum presentation. Remember we stayed up and we finished that thing
was fun.
With Olivia. Key parents night out.
Right.
Marriage. We actually did something healthy for our relationship. The church watched the kids and we went to a really good Italian restaurant. Field day at school for Olivia. Meetings in the morning. Valentine's Day was the 14th. So like we're really well spread out. That's only 2 weeks into February.
Yeah.
So like we're you know, we're pretty balanced. So if a family says that they want financial freedom, where do you think their calendar would be heavy?
Probably like restaurants, like friend dates, like.
No, if they want financial freedom.
Oh, financial free. I thought you were like, well, I guess I'm saying like if you want financial freedom, that's where you have to trim the fat. Like that's what I'm like what I meant. Like if you.
Oh, you got ahead.
Yeah, like I guess if you want financial freedom, it should be heavy on business, I guess.
Yeah.
So that you can, or you trim the fat, you know, and save.
Yeah.
If that's the question.
I mean, we're pretty structured, right? So like, do you feel more secure when our schedule is structured?
Yes.
Me too. Me as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely am a calendar person. Like my sisters are always like, you and your calendar, you know, because I'm like, oh, you guys want to do something on April 3rd. Let me check my calendar. And
now,
they're like, oh my gosh.
What happens when the calendar's too full and chaotic? How does that affect you emotionally?
It's a little stressful because I'm already like worried about like something next week. Like I was so excited because I didn't see a dinner that we had scheduled. It wasn't on the calendar. And to me, I go to the calendar for everything. So I went to schedule Pilates class with my friend and I scheduled and I wrote her. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually got to schedule Pilates with you like on Wednesday night. And then like I confirmed with you. I was like, hey, is this dinner still on? Because it wasn't on the calendar. You're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh no. Like my whole world came crashing down.
Yeah. So we lean heavy on the calendar and like that's the thing though. Like looking at it, I think what I'm getting at is we're a bad example because we're pretty balanced, honestly. Like we're pretty balanced with work. You know, I would say the one thing that we probably lack is spending time together.
Yeah, that's like really, alone time. Like
except for that nights. One night in February that I just mentioned, that one night that we got to go out, which was rare.
Yeah, it's rare.
So I think that that's what we lack. But like, you know, looking at our calendar from a financial perspective, you know, we are pretty active in going out to eat and like we're pretty active with spending our money that we're making.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get into that deeper in a minute. But so I just wanted to set it up by kind of going through the calendar and organizing the calendar. And I think anybody listening, do the same. Check out your calendar. And if you don't have things on your calendar, honestly, that's the first step to feeling secure. Like, I really think when you started putting everything onto our calendar, man, and I had the visibility and I knew what was in front of me and there was no guessing, the anxiety
right,
was lifted.
Less, because you don't have to be like, what is on here? Like, do I have something going on that day that I forgot about?
No arguments, no double booking.
Yeah, right.
We know, like last weekend, remember I was like, well, I knew I was going to spend money Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday because we had lunch with friends on Sunday. I knew it was coming, right? I budgeted each of those outings. Surprise. It wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the level of financial stress if Sunday rolled around and it was like, we weren't planning for that and it wasn't on the calendar and we didn't budget each of those days and we overspent on Friday.
Right.
So anyway, planning it on the calendar is so important. So I think what we have is discipline. I think we're pretty good with that.
Yeah.
But like for, another book that I read, Burn the Boats, Matt Higgins. You remember that book?
Yes.
Okay. Burn the Boats, Matt Higgins. Like, so most families haven't burned the boats. Like they're half committed to the discipline that we've found. Okay. And like that can be at any level. Like think about it for a second. What does half committed look like in a marriage? Like we're kind of half committed on the marriage side of it with us bonding and spending quality time. Like, like what happens when the discipline isn't mutual? Like what happens when you want to go out with your girlfriends a lot and you want to spend money, right? And we're draining the piggy bank. And now that financial freedom goal that I have can't be achieved, right? Because the money's being spent.
Right.
So like when there's an imbalance, like what happens? I think that leads to a lot of stress and anxiety in the relationship. Do you think that the security, like having that feeling of security, do you think it comes more from income or do you think it comes more from consistency in being disciplined?
I think the consistency, because if it's income, I mean, easy come, easy go. Like, so it's like you can get X amount in. It depends on how disciplined you are with what you have and how you manage it. Like some people, the more money they get, the more money they spend. And so it's like, it's a wash where it's like, we're kind of like, the more money we get, it's, we try to stay at the same level of spend so that
of lifestyle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think like financial literacy and both of us in a relationship or, each side of that relationship being on the same page from a financial literacy perspective and understanding that the money comes in, it shouldn't go right back out, even if there's an inflow. Like
that took me a while though.
Oh, it took you quite a while. Like, and understanding like, cool, if we make, let's say $10,000.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to take 2,000, 1,000 each, and we're going to put 8,000 in savings.
Yeah.
I think having that discipline, like, but let's say it's 20,000, it scales, right? Maybe we're going to take 4,000 now, 2,000 each, but like having a percentage, like for me, it's always like, I'm fine spending 10 to 20% of a lump sum that we get and putting the rest in savings because that was fun money. That was free money. That's house money that was found. Like, let's spend it and be disciplined with the spending. So, let's talk about discipline though. Again, most families haven't burned the boats. They're half committed to discipline. It's a quote from Burn the Books. Burn the books. Burn the Boats, Matt Higgins.
Yes.
Okay. So think about that again. How many times have we seen, maybe not necessarily, or sometimes us actually commit to a health goal, right? But then it's like injections into the calendar and well, now I'm going to go out to eat. Well, now I'm probably going to have 4 beers, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to miss my health goal because there's no discipline.
That's me Wednesday.
Or like, right. Or like us saying, cool, we're going to commit to being there for the kids more this month. Like we're going to spend more time with the kids, but then all of a sudden we onboard 2 new accounts.
Right.
Okay. How am I going to be there for the kids now if I have this pressure, the pressure of, executing our goals for those accounts, for the clients, like, money, like having a savings goal. And then what happens? Your dog gets sick, God forbid, like dog gets sick, car breaks down.
Right.
Okay. Maybe you spend on something that you weren't planning on. You're like, man, the kids' room really needs a new TV, or like whatever it might be. And then that breaks out. Like having the discipline and being able to say no, right? I think that's like super important. So going back to, do you think security comes more from income or consistency? And you answered consistency and discipline.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on. So being half committed can pose as, you know, a potential problem for families with kids our age, or even new couples. Like we're talking new couples here, and we're talking kids our age. So younger kids and newer families. So that's super important. So let's talk about lifestyle creep. Okay. And what I mean by that, I'm going to quote another book. I'm like on a book spree today. Millionaire Next Door. Does that one ring a bell?
I know that. I don't remember if I started it. I don't think I finished it. I think it was definitely one that you were like, you should read this book.
Yes, strong.
But I mean, you tell me like so many books. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know.
Millionaire Next Door was fantastic. There was studies conducted of millionaires, right?
Yeah.
Of millionaires, of deca-millionaires.
Yeah.
And it studied their behaviors and patterns and their purchasing behaviors and patterns. And the whole book's about that.
Yeah.
And it talks about what they buy and what they don't buy.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's a really good book. I recommend it. So a quote from there, wealth is what you accumulate, not what you spend. Right? So like, you know, keeping up with the Joneses.
Right.
The Joneses spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? But they might not be the millionaire next door. You might be. Right.
'Cause
wealth is what
I
you
do remember
accumulate.
that. Yeah.
And it's not what you spend. So you can have those friends that are flashy. We have them. You have friends that are flashy and they spend, and it's like, you know, they're flexing on you. And even our friends, like Chris and Denise, that when we first met them, we never went out to eat ever. Like now we started loosening our wallets a little bit, but we never went out to eat. And they knew. They were just like, you know, don't ask Mike and Ari, they don't go out to eat.
Yeah.
Right. But that was strategic.
Yeah.
That wasn't like, hey man, yeah, we can't afford it. That was like, we had a financial goal.
Yeah.
We were disciplined. And that's right around the time that you were starting to come around on that train with me. But okay, so do you feel pressure to give the kids more than what we had or what you had?
That's hard. I like how simple it was when I was growing up. Like I was so happy with not having a lot, and I think it makes me happy to see them happy, and they're always happy, like little things like taking Olivia, you know, to Sephora for like one thing, like hand sanitizer. Like it's just little, like I just like to see them.
Those hand sanitizer, what are they called? I'm sorry to cut you off. What are they called?
I just went blank on it.
Okay. They're like trendy right now. Those little hand sanitizer spray things. And it's like $10 a pop.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. So anyway.
Yeah, but she's like a germ freak. Like, so she has to have one like on every backpack, every purse, every Disney bag. She just likes to make sure she has them. So it's like every time she can get a new one, she's like, yeah, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not like big things like Easton with the cars. Like it could be a $1 car, but it's like, it's the joy. And I know that's so bad because it's like, it's not greed. It's just like, just to have something new. And like,
it's like this lust that we're fulfilling for them.
Yeah.
So
but it's almost like a love language because it's like, I was thinking about you, or like, I wanted to get this for you because I know you enjoy it or you like it. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a lot more than what I had, but it's like the thought of, I was thinking about you, you know, it's like.
Well, and that like, going back to the question, like, do you feel pressure to give our kids more than what we had? Is there maybe an underlying piece to that? Because you didn't grow up wealthy.
Right.
So like, do you think maybe you buy the kids get like these little presents and tchotchkes all the time because you're trying to fill a gap like you didn't have, so you're trying to make sure that they have?
I don't think that's it.
Okay.
I don't think that's it. Like, because it's not like I was sad. Like I always, like if I was like, oh, well, I grew up this way and I always wished I had more.
Yeah.
Because I remember that.
Well, if you don't have it, you don't realize what you don't have.
Right. And so I just feel like I was so grateful for everything that I had. Like I remember presents that I got for Christmas because it was like one present, but it was like meaningful, you know? Yeah. And so like, I wish I could raise my kids that way, to be like so grateful for the things that they get, and it's like it means something. It's not just like, oh yay, one gift next, which is almost how they are.
Yeah,
you know, they are pretty spoiled, but like we love spoiling them because it makes us feel good. I don't know.
Okay. I 100% feel pressure to give our kids what I had. Like, I didn't have a ton. Like, my parents didn't pay for my college or anything like that, but I know if I wanted something, like, my mom and dad got it for me, whether it was in a birthday gift or Christmas, like rarely a time. And to put that into perspective, like to give you kind of a scale of what I mean by that. No, when, you know, I was promised, my sister got a white BMW 328i, and I was promised I would get one.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get one.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, stomp my foot. Like,
they're like one and done.
I didn't get one.
With that. Yeah.
And there was a laptop in there.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Right. I remember.
However, everything else besides those two items, you know, and I think I feel that pressure where I'm like, okay, well, my mom and dad were able to give me those things. Like, they were able to make sure that I had anything I wanted. Like, if I thought it, I got it. And not to a spoiled extent where it was a BMW and a laptop.
Spoiled, I mean.
Right, I had more than most, like, and my parents weren't like well off by any means, but they made sure we had it. So I was like, so now I feel like we need to be there for our kids, and I do feel that pressure, and I try to make it happen. So you know, I feel the pressure.
Well, then
I'm glad you don't.
As long as one of us does it, I guess.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Then our kids win.
Yeah, but ironically enough, like, you're the one that buys things.
I know.
I'm not saying I'm buying them things. I'm just saying I feel the pressure.
Yeah.
If you're picking up what I'm putting down. But yeah, so all right, let's ground this again. I'm going to answer this question first. Where do you think lifestyle creep sneaks in for families? I think eating out. I 100% think lifestyle creep happens. Families are trying to stay disciplined financially, right? Mm-hmm. And they're trying to stay disciplined with their health. Both of those things live on a calendar, right? Mm-hmm. So you can look at your calendar right now. And if you're not keeping track of those items on a calendar, you should start doing so that you can visualize this.
Yeah.
So the problem with those two items are, you're eating out, you're spending money. You're eating out, the food's not healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Right? The World Health Organization just classified like bacon, turkey bacon, pork bacon.
So depressing.
All the delicious things that we love. Like those are now classified as known carcinogens that cause cancer.
For sure.
Not maybe.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, don't eat a lot of it, you'll be fine. Like, no, it was announced that they cause cancer. Yeah. And I wouldn't doubt you see them begin to be banned.
Yeah.
I honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. They're so over processed, like, it's insane. But we eat out and we eat this food and the oil that they use, right? All the different oils that RFK Jr.'s coming out with, like, you know, we're trying to, the beef tallow now they're switching to,
right.
And we're trying to be healthier with the oils. We're more conscious of that. Like, eating out is a health killer. Mm-hmm. And you will gain so much weight, so much fat, and you won't be able to stay disciplined, and you'll miss your goal. And then what I led with was financially, like, right, you go out to eat, you spend money.
Yeah.
And now, you know, there's a little bit of inflation going on in the world since COVID. You're spending a lot of money. So it's tough to reach financial and health goals. So I'll kick it to you on this. Where do you think, and you could feed off of what I said too, where do you think lifestyle creep sneaks in today for families?
I don't know. Like, I guess I'd have to say what you said, but also like keeping up, I guess, like with the kids, like with sports, and like, it's just hard. I don't really know. I don't know if I really understand like the question, like where it creeps, like financial creeps up. Like, is that what? Where does life like when you have a goal that you're trying to achieve? Yeah.
Where in your lifestyle do these habits that you form creep in and deter you from achieving the goal?
Yeah, I guess that would be the only way. Like, I would say eating out. Like, social time, because that's it doesn't even have to be like eating. It could be like going out for beers or wine. I mean, for you at least, because it's like you'll be like, I'm not going to drink this week, but the second we have something social on the calendar, you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to drink this week, you know, like,
right. And
so
then,
it's like,
and then I miss my health goal.
Yeah.
And we miss our financial goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you could just roll with ditto.
Yeah, I guess that's like the only thing I could think of that throws us off
on
our
that
game.
response. Yeah. And then let me ask you this: is the spending sometimes emotional? Like, is it emotional spending where
100%?
Yeah, like
because I'll be like, I'm not gonna eat, and then I'm like, yeah, I'll have an ice cream float, or yeah, I'll have a soda, and like, you know, and sometimes with like the kids, I'll feed them before we leave. And we go walk around Disney Springs, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get them a treat. You know, like it's like emotional. It's like that.
Like you feel bad.
That feeling of spoiling them again. It's like,
right.
I just want to do nice things.
Right. So like kind of links back to, do you feel pressure to give our kids more than we had? Like,
yeah. It's
you
like,
know, you want to spoil the kids.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to spoil them the way I was spoiled. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel that. And then like, again, like, is spending sometimes emotional? Like, let's talk about friendships, right? Do we not want to let our friends down? Do we not want to let our families down?
I just feel like it's not letting them down. It's like keeping up. Like the only way to hang out with them is sometimes like, oh, do you want to go out to eat? Like, what else are we going to do? You know, or it's like, come over, but then we have to host, and then like it's still like it's still a financial burden, not like a bad burden, but it's just like something you have to do. Like you have to go buy stuff, and you have to like, you know.
Yeah, so like sometimes it is emotional where we want to be good friends, right? And we do have to reach into our pocket to be a good friend, right?
Yeah.
To socialize.
But it's not like we do it begrudgingly. Like it's like we want to do it, but it's like it's still like,
it's still a financial
strain.
strain.
Yeah. It's still like,
yeah. Do you think social media makes contentment harder?
Yes. 100%.
Why?
I mean, it's why I dropped my IG. It's like, you're constantly trying to keep up. It's impossible. I mean, you're comparing yourself. You're like, you know, it's a terrible cycle. Like it comes at you from all angles. You're like, oh, I should buy that outfit. Oh, I need that new makeup. Oh, they're eating at this new hot spot. Oh, why aren't my friends like, where are my friends? Like I have, you know, like social anxiety, like, but then it's like everything, it comes at you from all angles on Instagram, like on social media. You're just constantly trying to keep up with everything, and inside you're just like dead,
right?
Because it's like you're never going to be good enough, you're never going to have enough, you're never going to be like doing everything you want to do, because you're constantly comparing yourself. Right. Everybody does it. Right. Fitness, like with everything.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I align with you on that wholeheartedly. So, and this actually goes in line with exactly what you said. So the people who look rich often aren't, right? Yes. And the people who are rich often don't look it. Yeah. Right? Right. Back to the Millionaire Next Door book. Right. Okay. Right. So the people that look rich or try to act rich, those are the ones, you know, consistently spending, right, making other people happy, right? Trying to fill a gap, and you know, live up to the expectations of their children, and right, trying to give them what you had growing up. Like those people might look rich and they're posting it on social media, but they aren't, right? They're not the ones that are disciplined, right? And that's kind of what this whole conversation is about. Yeah. Being disciplined. Yeah. So would you rather look wealthy or feel stable? I know your answer, but
yeah, I'd rather feel stable.
100%. But would that mean you driving a Kia minivan? Like a used Kia minivan?
I would never. No. Like it's one of the things.
Would you rather look wealthy or feel stable?
Well, it's like, I mean,
What
my
if our
car
income,
now is not my dream car.
What if our income could only afford a beat up used Kia minivan?
Then that's what I drive. I mean, it's like, I want us to be comfortable, so I'm never going to try to overextend us. You know, like, I know that I could have a nicer car now, but I don't really care to have, like, as long as I have a cute car, like, I'm fine.
So
like,
you'd rather feel stable.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. Like, you'd rather feel stable than look wealthy. And I don't think that was always the case. I think you've matured into that.
Right. I feel like I don't like overextending, and I feel like once we're at a place where it's like, now I can get my G-Wagon, but we're not overextending because we're like up here, and you know, like, I would never want us to like overextend for me to just drive and show off. It would have to be like, oh, well, us getting the G-Wagon, it would be like us having the minivan.
Right.
Like, I'd want to have that cushion and be like comfortable, and it's like a drop in the hat, you know?
Right. What actually then makes you feel secure? Like, what makes you feel secure in life? Where does your security come from? Where do you sit there and say, I feel stable? Like, where does that come from? Which bucket?
I think feeling stable, I guess it's finance. Like, as long as you feel like we're good, like, I rely on you for a lot of that. Like, and it's like,
I don't think it is for you. Do you want to know what I think it is for you?
Health. Yeah. Like, but I need you to be okay with our finances in order for me to be good with health. Like, health is what makes me happy.
Right.
Like, that's my little bubble of
personal
care. So as long as we have
care, you know, as long as we're stable financially, you feel secure.
Yes.
What if you, God forbid, were extremely ill and I had all the money in the world? Which one would make you feel more stable?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, health, as long as like we're fine financially, because I can't do anything if I'm sick, I still can't help anyway. You know, like, where it's like, if I know we're fine financially, if I do get sick, like, I know you'll be fine. Like,
I think for me, it's health.
Yeah.
Like, more so as I get older.
Yeah.
Because what you just said, like, you hit the nail on the head. If I'm not healthy, and remember we talked about this episode 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I have to put my oxygen mask on first.
Right.
And it sounds selfish, but it's not, because if I'm not healthy, I can't provide.
Right.
Right. So, like, I look at health now first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And being healthy allows me the ability to make money, which then allows you to feel stable.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that's cool. That was a good little segment there. Good little exercise. But okay, so I think we've all heard this before. Time equals money.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Time is our first and most important asset.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When our time feels rushed, like when there's not enough hours in the day,
I hate that feeling.
Are we more impulsive?
I think,
like you and I, like, are we more impulsive to do things that maybe we wouldn't do if our time feels rushed?
Yeah.
Okay, give me an example, and I have an example too.
I just feel like, I mean, if we're rushed, like, trying to think of an example. Like, I don't know, like, impulsive, like, I might rush the kids to do something I wouldn't have done, or, you know, like, I can't think of like an example on the spot. Like, it's hard. Like, do
you want me to bail you out?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it'll get your juices.
Yeah, right. Give me a head start.
I think when I feel rushed,
yeah,
and I feel like I don't have enough time,
yeah,
my anxiety builds and I yell at the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably the best example that I can give. It's the most accurate, is like, I just, I rushed home. I got to get the kid ready for baseball. It just happened. Trying to get the boy ready for baseball. and he's sitting down. He sits down at the kitchen table on that bench.
Yeah.
And I'm putting his shoes on.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let me. He's running around. He's dancing. He's shaking his booty at me. Nah. And I said, Easton, I told you last week, we can't do this again for baseball. And you promised me you wouldn't. And he looked me in the eye and he said, no, I didn't. So I lost it.
Yeah.
I lost it. I screamed at him. I said, we're not going to baseball. You're out.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And I think I felt rushed that day. I had a lot of anxiety going on. My calendar wasn't managed correctly. I didn't really understand the flow of my day. And it allowed me to make a bad decision, right? And to be a bad parent. So I think when we feel rushed, we tend to spend money more impulsively as well, right? Like, I didn't have a lot of time to spend with you, which I don't, as of late. Didn't have a lot of time to spend with the kids. So what do? I pick something that costs money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We went to Kobe, right? We went to Japanese cook in front of you.
Thought you were going to say the bowling.
The bowling. Yeah. We went bowling and I picked a terrible bowling alley. I didn't do my research. It ended up being.
It was fun though.
It was fun.
Had fun.
It was over $100 for 2 games.
Yeah. I was like, what?
What in the world? And this was not a fancy bowling alley.
It was not in Disney Springs.
No, you would think so. You'd think it was Splitsville.
We could have gone there. Yeah.
You'd think it was Splitsville, but yeah, we made that was an impulsive decision.
Yeah.
That we made because we didn't have time. We weren't, disciplined in managing our calendar.
Yeah. So we didn't plan it out.
Right. So, it led to us not being able to meet our financial goals. So yeah, like when we're calm and structured, right? When we're calm and structured, does the money feel calmer too? I think that's a no-brainer.
Yes.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, that's why I love like scheduling our calendar, because then you just know you're prepared for the entire week. Like every detail of like what's happening, what's coming up, like where are we going, what are we spending, what are we doing. And it's like not just spending like money, it's also spending our time. Like we can allocate everything so much better and and make sure we have time at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day to rest, where it's like when it's like, oh, something popped up, then we're like, oh my God, now my whole day is packed.
Yeah.
Like now there's no time in the day for resting or like just chilling. Like
right.
During the week, we're so busy. Like we have baseball, we have Pilates, you have work, we have, there's just so much going on that it's like on the weekends, we try to leave some time to just.
Yeah, mainly Sundays. I mean,
just
that's
chill.
Church, right?
Yeah.
It's all about faith on Sunday and the Sabbath, and that's supposed to be our day to rest.
Right. But like last Sunday where it's like everything, it was back to back to back. Like we had to miss church. We had to rush to baseball. It got rained out. It was cold. We had friends that we met for lunch. And then after that, we went to mom and dad's. So it's just like that day was just so jam packed.
Yeah.
That like Monday we were both a little tired.
And that's why I'm like too, like I always think just kind of out loud, like talking out loud about like, I always think, man, I wish Sundays we could just like actually commit to Sabbath. You know what I mean? Like where on a Sunday we could actually say, hey, we're not going to schedule anything. And we're going to do the one thing that you and I don't balance well is enjoyment. And we're going to say like, what do we enjoy as a family? Like, sit down with the kids and like, what do we all like to do together the most? And maybe that's what we commit Sundays to. Like,
yeah, it's hard because like the things I like to do, you don't like to do.
Right. So it's hard to balance.
Yeah.
What would be an example of something you like to do that I don't?
I like to go to the stores. Like I like my version of like
spending money.
Just even window shopping, as long as we have lunch somewhere. Like I just like to get out and change my scenery. I like to walk around. Like it's something that I like to do. I just like to get out and walk and explore. Yeah. And you hate doing that. You hate crowds.
Right.
You don't like being out where like other people, like it's not your vibe.
Yeah. I'm pretty quiet, but
you like being in the sun. So like golfing, like.
But I think like, but the point being is like, I think we need to do a better job of working enjoyment into our calendar.
Yeah.
You
right.
know what I mean?
Like just for us.
Yeah. Like just for us, like even golf, like the only time I go golfing now is because I'm Olivia's golf coach.
Right.
So I'm only out there on Saturdays.
I need to be her shopping coach.
Yeah. Right. You need to be her shopping teach her how to not spend money.
We need to dedicate 2 hours every Sunday.
I'll be her shopping coach. Don't go shopping. One of those. Yeah. So if someone, these questions are basic. Okay.
Okay.
If somebody wanted to double their income, what should change in their calendar first?
I mean, their social, like going out and
right.
Splurging.
Reducing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. If somebody wanted more enjoyment, what should change in their calendar?
I would say prioritizing health.
Right.
Because
if someone wanted more enjoyment, because you enjoy.
Yeah, like the
health.
endorphins and overall, like your health is gonna make you feel so good. It's gonna like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
totally yours.
That's just always been like an enjoyment for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If somebody wanted to be more faithful, what calendar changes do they make?
I mean, prioritizing your church days is a big deal.
Yeah,
like put that on the calendar so you always have that
being committed
scheduled.
Yeah. Being committed to Sunday service and Sunday church.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100%. All right, well, so like some practical takeaways from what we've talked about so far. Calendar test, right?
Yeah.
I strongly recommend that younger couples or couples kind of in our range that have younger children sit down and audit their calendar. And if you don't have a calendar, make one, right?
Yeah.
And share that calendar. I know Android and
Sharing
Apple.
it is key. Yeah.
Right. Because now you can add things, I can add things, and we know that calendar is our Bible.
Yeah.
Right? For our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it does allow you in an outlook. Like, what did that take? It took me, in the beginning of this episode, it took me 20 seconds to read off the first 2 weeks of our February.
Yeah.
And understand like, hey, there's no me and you time. Like, except for that one night, which was rare, but
right.
There was no me and you time. Like, I know that's where we lack just by running the calendar test with you.
Right.
Others might say like, hey, there's no enjoyment. Like, we don't have enjoyment in there. And others might say, hey, I don't have enough family time. Right? We're not doing enough family time.
Or we're spending too much on lunch and dinners.
Yeah, we're spending too much on lunch and dinners. I don't have enough health in there, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have it time allocated for me, sauna and cold plunge, and for you, for Pilates. Like, that's in there. So calendar test, run it, check it out. And then number 2, like, I think talking about the time buckets, because time is scarce.
Yeah.
Right? Time equals money.
Mm-hmm.
It should be segmented by income, like time spent on earning money. Mm-hmm. Family, mm-hmm. Of course, if you're in a marriage like this, that's kind of what this episode revolves around, is family. And like a personal bucket, like me, like Michael, not Ari.
Right.
And like Ari, not Michael. And that personal bucket would be like personal growth, right? It could be faith. Mm-hmm. It could be health. Okay. So time buckets. Then
like you're filling them evenly.
And you're filling them evenly.
Yeah.
Yep. Correct. The time buckets, right? You have to fill them evenly. Like, it's so important.
Yeah.
You can't be too heavy on income. And I think we know that. That's burnout. Burnout is real.
Right.
I've gone through it. It happens. And you can't be only family, because then how are you going to be able to provide?
Right.
How are you going to live?
Well, you just have to make sure that you're filling all the buckets up evenly.
Income, family, personal being growth, faith, and health.
Right.
Okay, so let's shift into kind of the third thing, which would be money buckets. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you take that income bucket, and we divide it out, and we divide it by survival, right? Growth and enjoyment. What do you think survival income goes towards? Like, what is survival income?
I think that's like savings, future, and like emergency.
Wrong.
Like in case something happens.
Wrong.
Okay.
Survival income is the income that we use to pay the bills. It's our bottom line income, right? Our bottom line expenses.
Yeah.
The income that we make to make sure we have a roof over our head, food to eat, transportation to get to work. Like, that's our survival income, right? Growth is
what I just said.
What you just said. So growth is, how do I take, and we talked about it earlier, if we're going to make, if we get a $10,000 lump sum.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Taking 2,000 out, 1,000 for you, 1,000 for me, and taking the 8,000 and putting it in the savings. So that's kind of our growth money bucket. And you can't have the growth money bucket and or without having discipline, right? Being disciplined on luxury spending and satisfying your friends / keeping up with the Joneses,
right?
Filling a void, buying your kids a ton of things,
everything.
And so you can't have growth with frivolous spending.
Yeah.
And then lastly, there needs to be a bucket of spending that goes to enjoyment.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think, enjoyment? How would we spend on enjoyment?
I think that's like fun time, family time, eating out.
Overspending on bowling.
Yeah, way overspending on bowling. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Do you think enjoyment, and different strokes for different folks, keep that in mind.
Yeah, right.
Do you think enjoyment is necessary or optional?
There's a balance. Like, I feel like it's necessary. Like, that's an outlet.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're so stressed out and you work all week, like you need an outlet.
Yeah.
But it's also like can be taken advantage of.
Right. Like, even, yeah.
Like when you're just lazy and you're like, oh, well, let's just order out. Like, or we just cook at home. Like,
and I think
it's not like a need.
And I think we've gone through it, like when we don't allocate money for fun. Like, we've seen that life kind of does get dry.
Yeah.
So it is a necessary evil, like a necessary bucket to spend in. And then, like, again, like, to round it out, being able to budget, not only, time is money. So we're budgeting our calendar, but like being able to actually budget. Like, we have a grocery budget, right?
Yeah. Everything's on a budget.
Right. Everything's on a budget. We spend X amount a week on groceries and that's it. And we're strict. We stick to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's so important, and you're budgeting, or your time as well. Like, so we're spreading our time out, like the same way that we budget our money on groceries, we need to budget our time and have a balanced calendar.
Right.
I think a balanced calendar is just like having a balanced diet. Honestly, it makes for a healthy marriage. It makes for a healthy family, a healthy relationship. It makes for a healthy future.
It's
honestly.
just like mental too. Like, it's just good to, it's like, it calms the voices in your head when you're like, it's just like calms it down. I can't even explain
when
it.
It's planned and in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's how we feel content.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay. What do you want? I mean, this is how we're going to close it out.
Okay.
What do you want our kids to remember? Like, at this time in their life, like, what do you want them to remember? Do you want them to
I want them to remember that
the stress or the structure, or, like, what do you want them to remember?
I want them to look back and be like, wow, I felt like prioritized, like maybe not spoiled, but like definitely taken care of. Like, I want them to feel like we did the most for them. I
feel like we're really heavy on money. Like, we talk about money like too much with them. I feel like Olivia, like, I don't, it's like what do you tell them? Like, oh, Easton, right?
Yeah.
This just happened.
Yeah.
Like, you tell Easton, like, Easton, daddy doesn't pay me till end of the month.
Yeah.
So Easton, like, 3 times in a row said, hey, Dad, when are you paying Mom?
Yeah.
Like, do you pay her tomorrow?
Yeah.
And he asked me 3 times, like 3 days in a row. And
yeah.
So finally I asked you, I was like, what are you telling this kid?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like
I just said you have to pay me.
They think that we just have endless money.
But the problem is like, I know they do.
And so like,
and that's our fault.
I'm trying to tell him like, I work, you know, the same way we try to tell them like, oh, clean the leaves out of the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, like clean up your toys and, you know, you'll get paid. Like I try to tell him like, I work the same way you work for your money. You spend all your money.
Yeah.
Like I spend my money little by little. I'm like, so I have to wait until my work is done and then I get paid again.
We just did a bad job at like, we used money
like,
as a crutch to unspoil them, to try to unspoil them.
We did the damage and now we're trying to like backtrack, like
yeah.
trying to fix it because they just think, oh, they just swipe that card.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like endless amount of money on the card. Yeah. And like,
so now I feel like
they don't understand.
We're well aware that like now we've overcompensated. Where we've talked about money a lot. So like now we're trying to backpedal it like instead of hey, you know, don't break that, it costs money. Mm-hmm. It changes to, hey, don't break that, that's really special to mommy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And just reframing the why.
Yeah.
And getting away from money because we were too far away from money. And then we talked about it way too much.
Yeah.
And now that's all they hear.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to remember that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
yes.
I don't want that to be what they remember.
Right.
I want them to remember structure.
Yeah.
I want them to remember like, oh yeah, we ate out. You know, we always made sure to eat out 3 times a week. Like, or 2 times a week.
Right. Like that's a memory I told you like I have. Like every Friday we went out to eat and it was something I looked forward to. But now as an adult, like I want to give that to my kids. I tell you, I'm like, I want to make sure we spend time with them, like, and do their favorite restaurants and like, you know, like make sure we do all the things because they say like, you only have 18 years. I read this somewhere, but you really only have 10 years of them being little. And then it's like they switch. It's not really mom and dad anymore. It becomes friends that they turn to. So you only have 10 years with them as them being like little.
Right.
Before it like it switches and they literally hit.
I believe you said it went from 8 all the way until 18. When they turn 18 years old, they will have spent 90% of the time that they're going to spend with you in their lifetime.
Yeah.
From ages 0 to 18 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 90% of the time you're ever going to spend with your kid.
You saw that. I sent it to you, but I wasn't sure if you saw it.
So from age 19 to until they die.
Yeah.
You know, 75, 85, God bless, 100. That's only 10%. You only have 10% left of time that you're going to spend with your kids. Yeah.
So we just have to make sure that like whoever they marry loves us.
I think remembering that, and that's why it's so important, like to, you know, again, I keep saying I'm going to round this thing out, but there's so much to talk about because it's like to round it out again is that's why it's so important to have a structured calendar.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's why it's so important to balance your calendar to make sure that when you're scarce on time, when time is scarce and you didn't have a lot in the day, we don't
adjust.
We don't have the pressure which causes us to make an impulsive decision like yell at your kid, right or maybe spend too much money at a bowling alley. So you know, I think understanding that it really grounds us and puts everything into perspective that by the time your kid's 18, you spent 90% of the time you're going to spend with them.
Yeah, that's depressing.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
So, remembering things like that, I think that really does help to keep us grounded.
It does.
What would you say? And you could think about us. What would you say to a young couple that feels overwhelmed right now? A couple younger than us, like let's say late 20s.
Overwhelmed?
Yeah. What would you say to a young couple that feels overwhelmed right now, keeping to the theme?
I would say just take it one day at a time and try to put what matters most to you, write it down and like in order and find a way to allocate whatever it is that deserves. Like, let's say you feel pressure from work. We'll write down what it is that actually matters to you. Like, why do you stay at that job? Like, is it like, you know, like your bills, you know, like your health, you need health insurance. Like, I would say, like, list it out, what it is that matters most to you, and then find a way to either, like, I don't want to say balance it out, find a way to deal with it, but like in a way that's going to make you happy. So it's like, if you're staying at a job because it's like you need that health insurance, if you know that's the main thing, then you can go out and look for different options. But it's like, nothing is going to be worth stressing over, because that's what's going to end up like shifting the way you feel about everything.
And that's funny you say that, because the cortisol levels, like we just read about this, and someone asked ChatGPT, what's the best way for me to live until 150 years old?
Yeah.
And ChatGPT responded like, it's not about diet. Everybody thinks it's diet. Yeah, of course it's important that we eat healthy. But believe it or not, what aids and assists you in living the longest is having low cortisol levels.
Yeah. Of
all things. Like, so you look at these blue zones, right? That have these really cool diets and healthy diets, and like ChatGPT and studies now that ChatGPT is referencing is saying it's not the diet, guys. It's not only the diet. Like, look at the cortisol levels. Look at the quality of life.
Right.
So what you just said, you kind of hit the nail on the head. And what I like about what you're saying too is you literally full circled this episode, because I started with, your future is created by what you do today.
Right.
Not tomorrow. Right. So you're saying, list out the frustrations that you got going on today.
Yeah.
Figure it out right now.
Yeah. I think everything, you can overcome anything if you really want to. Like, I don't think that your job or your relationship, or honestly, those are the two top major players, like in life. It's like, how happy are you in your relationship, or how happy are you in your like work life? Yeah. I think those are the top stressors.
And then going back, like what you're saying, I mean, it falls into the buckets that we talked about. And I do think also having a balanced calendar, right? That'll help you achieve it.
That's good. I
mean, that was a given. I know.
Yeah.
Like, that was low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
So I took the easy way out. Like, your answer was more complex and more thorough. But having the balanced calendar, like what you're saying, like if you're unhappy with your job, but you're there because you need health insurance, like, little things like that. Like, those buckets are still the same though: income, family, personal growth, / faith / health.
Yeah.
Right. And taking all of those into consideration, making sure that you're happy with your current contentment, like that's important. So, any final notes? I have a quote I'm going to leave us with.
No, I think that's everything. What advice would you give a younger couple?
Balanced calendar. Yeah, 100%. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Like that's mine's. It was low hanging fruit for me to say. It's too easy for me to say, but like, it's so true, because understanding your calendar is understanding your time, which is understanding your money,
your life. Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Like, I live by the calendar now.
Yeah.
I'm super true to that.
Yeah.
And so the kind of final note here, you can't build a legacy accidentally. Do you like that?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that quote?
I was hoping I was building a legacy accidentally. But it makes, I mean, obviously you're creating a legacy, because it's like, I see how much work you put into everything you do.
It's just having the structure.
Right.
But it's not just me. Like, it's you. You're taking care of your health, right? You make me well aware of when I'm lacking in our marriage and being attentive to our marriage. The kids, us spending time with the kids is super important.
Yeah.
I think you being conscious of our budget, like you do very good at that. Like, it's not just me building the legacy. It's, we're not doing it by accident. It's planned. Right.
Right.
And a lot of that is the calendar. A lot of that is understanding our time in that calendar, where it's being spent, and balancing it, and being disciplined. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, is being disciplined. Like, if we're going to commit to one of those buckets or all of those buckets at the same time, being disciplined with our follow through. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can't build a legacy accidentally. Cool. So I think that's about it. I mean, like we could obviously talk all night on this, but we got to end it. So kind of overtime on this topic. So yeah, I know. All right. Well, I'm Mike
and Ari,
and that's it for today. Casa Siciliano, episode 4. We're out.
Ciao.
Peace.